Hi guys, I've had a little bit of free time on my hands, so I decided to make a video. I know it's been a while, but here's my video. So, about a year ago, I saw this video by Madrybread, and he tried to beat Pokemon Emerald with just a single Wobbuffet, without any items in battle, except for held items. And I watched the video, it was a great video, but the end result was, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the video, he could not defeat the final member of the Elite Four, aka the champion. And he said it wasn't possible. But in my gut, I thought I could do a few things and actually beat this challenge. So today, I present you a video of me trying to beat the Elite Four. And if I get past the Elite Four and the champion, you also get to see me attempt to battle Steven, the final fight of the game. And because I didn't want to spend weeks raising a Wobbuffet myself, and I actually wanted to see if Wobbuffet at its best could at least beat the game first, I hacked a Wobbuffet with 6 IVs, perfect IVs, which means he had the best possible stats for everything across the board, and then I EV trained him so that he could have maximum HP and attack. So let's see how I went. So what you've been watching right now is my first Elite Four fight. It's against Sydney. And the reason why I'm not talking much about this fight is because it was too easy. They use Swagger on Wobbuffet, which confuses Wobbuffet but doubles its attack, making the fight very easy. This Wobbuffet doesn't even have the most attack possible. It's got 20 attack less than what it should. And I also haven't gotten leftovers for Wobbuffet yet, which is legally obtainable within the rules of the challenge. Also, I'd like to apologise if the video footage is a bit jumpy. I did speed up parts of the fights during emulation because I don't have any patience, unfortunately. But I've tried to make it as watchable as possible, so sorry in advance if you don't like any of the footage. Alright, so now what you're watching is the second Elite Four member, and the fight's against Phoebe. She was also pretty easy. The only problems which you could run into with Wobbuffet was the first Dusclops, because sometimes it used Curse, which lowered Wobbuffet's HP every turn by a percentage of its total HP, which just made the fight impossible, but this didn't happen very often, so the fight was pretty easy. I didn't really run into any trouble with this fight, so there's not much to say really. Just click the struggle button and hopefully it doesn't take too long. That's it. Lucky Struggle works differently to Generation 1, because if it worked like Generation 1, then Wobbuffet wouldn't be able to damage the Ghost type Pokemon very well, and this challenge would have been impossible. So next is the Elite Four fight against Glacier, the Ice type trainer. This fight was very hard, especially without leftovers. And what I'm going to show you here is them demolishing me. They always set up Hail, which does way too much damage. And without leftovers, the fight is almost impossible. So after struggling in this fight, and not in the good way, unfortunately, I didn't want to waste any further time in the challenge, so I made sure I had an optimal Wobbuffet. So what I had to do was, because I couldn't increase my attack any further, due to not being able to increase your EVs once you're level 100 past a certain point, I had to catch another Wobbuffet. So I caught a Wobbuffet at level 99 via hacks. It had perfect IVs, and then I trained it properly. I also had to obtain leftovers, because that's optimal for Wobbuffet, considering it has massive HP. And to do that legally, what you had to do was catch a Zigzagoon, level it up to level 81. Then its pickup ability would allow you to have a 1% chance of finding leftovers after beating a wild Pokemon. I did not do that. I cheated. I hacked a Snorlax into the wild, used cover, and I stole its leftovers because I wanted to save 4 hours. And getting leftovers quicker doesn't make a difference to the difficulty of beating the Elite Four with Wobbuffet. That's hard enough as it is. So with my optimal Wobbuffet, Hail was negated by leftovers, and most of Glacier's Pokemon were a 2-shot with Struggle due to the higher attack that I have. And yeah, this battle became a lot more consistent. Not as consistent as the first two, and I got past it. Alright, so the next fight is against Drake. This fight looks very hard, considering how tanky all of his Pokemon are. But with leftovers, you can just scrape through every time. Well, not every time, but most times. This is another boring fight, unfortunately. It's just me struggling and, yeah, just healing as they damage me. The worst part of this fight is the Salamence because it uses Intimidate, lowering my attack and making it take a lot longer to defeat everything. And yeah, there's nothing really that interesting about this fight. I mean, Altaria paralyzes you, which doesn't make a difference because it hardly does any damage, and Leftovers probably heals you at the rate at which it damages you, unless it uses Dragon Dance too many times, and it doesn't. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I don't know, it just didn't really make a difference to most of my runs against him. Yep, last Pokemon, Kingdra, not too bad. I mean, without the paralysis, this would have been even easier. And yeah, the fight gets beaten with more than a third of my health. Alright, so this is just a quick clip of the last fight, just part of it against Ludicolo, because I wanted to show you what happens when Ludicolo uses Leech Seed. You're basically whacking it and it's healing at a much faster rate than what you can damage it, unless you somehow fluke out a critical hit. So that was the big wall in this fight. Alright, take a final look at the legendary Wobbuffet in front of you and figure out whether or not I can actually beat this challenge. Alright, so Wallace. This was not consistent. This took ages to even have a chance at beating him. And I came up with this elaborate strategy, which was fun because I didn't have to use Struggle all the time. I used PP up on Safeguard and Destiny Bond, giving Safeguard 5 PP and Destiny Bond 1 PP. So what I did was I used Safeguard, Destiny Bond, then 5 Safeguards, then 4 more Safeguards. As the PP ran out, as Safeguard wore off, I got to use my final PP on Safeguard. I then tried to knock out the Wailord in a couple of shots after using Safeguard, and then I tried to use the Safeguard to protect me against Tentacruel's Toxic, which was a complete run ender. And it's funny, in this run I'm showing you now, my plan didn't work. But that didn't make a difference. This is the run. So I was lucky against Tentacruel here. It just kept on using Hydro Pump. And yeah, I knocked it out. No Toxic, beautiful. Now to Ludicolo. This was very lucky. No Leech Seed. Just one double team, and then after that, a clutch critical hit. Struggle, knocks it out. Now this is the consistent part of the fight. Whiscash didn't really pose a threat. It just used a bit of Amnesia, which didn't do anything, and the occasional Earthquake, which also didn't do much. Next is Gyarados, another annoying Pokemon because of Intimidate, making my attack really weak. The Earthquake doesn't matter much. If he uses some Dragon Dances, it does. I got really lucky with the Gyarados, besides that critical hit which you just saw. It uses... So basically it uses Hyper Beam at some point. I'll show you soon. So I think it's about here. It uses Hyper Beam. Oh, not yet. Alright, maybe not. Alright, so here definitely. Hyper Beam. Don't knock it out. I get to heal from Leftovers. Now I get to hit it again. It can't attack me because of Hyper Beam Recharge, and I get to use Leftovers again. So double heal, so that was lucky. Now Milotic. I was very nervous here. Very, very nervous. It could use full restore to heal, and I didn't have much health left. But what happens here is I get the clutch critical hit. It negates the Intimidate against my Wobbuffet, and I get to knock it out. And I didn't have much health left, and I was over the moon when I bet this fight. I did what my dry bread, the legendary YouTuber, could not. And now to see if I can beat Steven. I had a different strategy to my dry bread, and yeah, I'll show you how that turns out. But while I quickly show a bit of the credits, I'd like to say that I feel bad for hacking the Wobbuffet. If this video is successful, I will do a challenge from scratch, starting with the level 5 Wobbuffet with the universal Pokemon randomizer, and I will follow in the footsteps of my dry bread and try to beat this game with an imperfect Wobbuffet. And if you want to see that, leave lots of comments down below. You can subscribe if you want to check out the next video if I get enough motivation to do it. I mean, I will do it anyway, but asking for motivation is always fun. And yeah, now to skip ahead to the final fight of the game. Let's see how it went. Alright, so the first Pokemon was Skarmory. Lucky I didn't use Toxic. I used Safeguard to protect against Toxic. And then I just kept on countering until it died. That wasn't too hard. Cradily comes out. This Pokemon has healing, and it's got both a physical and special attack, so you have to guess with either counter or Miracle. Which, yeah, this part took a bit of time. I have Safeguard, so its Confuse Ray didn't hit me. The good thing about Cradily is it took forever to damage you, and you could basically heal quicker than what it could damage you, making this part easy and boring, unfortunately. So I nearly kill it. It heals a bit, so it doesn't get full restored. Then I keep on guessing wrong with my counter and Miracle, and it heals quite a bit. There we go, Chris with Giga Drain. Knock it out, finally. Next part of the challenge, Metagross. I got lucky with this. It crit me, so my counter one-shot it. Next is Claydol. Claydol was also pretty easy. I mean, I shouldn't have used Safeguard against it, but it doesn't matter. Couple of Earthquakes and my counters kill it. And now, for Aggron, easy. It's only going to use physical attacks, so all I have to do is counter it a couple of times. And it might use special attacks, but I never saw it use any special attacks. And last Pokemon. I was very excited at this point. And there it is. I actually bet it. I was so ecstatic I couldn't contain myself. And I was surprised. This battle didn't take me many attempts. And I'm surprised that my dry bread didn't try to beat Steven using counter and Miracle. I mean, I guess he couldn't beat Wallace, so he just wanted to outmuscle it with some X attacks and X defense just to see how possible it was with struggle. But yeah, that's the end of the video, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and you may see me beat the entire game with a single Wobbuffet from level 5 though. Random IVs, random nature, no hacks, no items in battle, and you can only use Wobbuffet in battle, unless it's a mandatory doubles battle, in which you have a level 5 Magikarp that does nothing. So the extra hard mode of this challenge and the 100-hour version of this challenge